Hi everyone. To kick off today's topic, let me begin with a true story. It was September 1816. In the courtyard of the Louvre, yes, the iconic museum in the heart of Paris, two young boys were playing a curious game. One was tapping a long wooden beam with a tiny pin. The other had his ear pressed against the opposite end of the beam. As Dr. René Laennec rushed across the courtyard, he was late for a heart patient at the hospital. His eyes caught the two boys. He paused, observed, and then an idea sparked. If sound travels this clearly through wood, he later wrote, maybe I can use the same principle to listen to a heartbeat. That very morning at the hospital, he rolled up a sheet of paper into a makeshift tube and placed it on the patient's chest. What he heard stunned him. The heartbeat, loud and clear, far clearer than when he had pressed his ear directly to the chest. That's how René Laennec invented the first stethoscope in medical history. From that simple paper roll, he went on to design a hollow wooden tube about 10 inches long and 1.4 inches in diameter. That humble invention would go on to change modern medicine. For the first time ever, doctors had a way to hear what was happening inside the human body. No longer relying solely on patient descriptions or gut feelings, they could now listen, measure, monitor, compare symptoms with treatment outcomes, and even with autopsy findings. The stethoscope became a window, a way to peer into the truth beneath the surface. And that brings us to the real point of this story. In life, we need a kind of stethoscope for ourselves, because more often than not, we lie to ourselves and don't even realize it. We say we're trying our best, but how hard are we really trying? Can we measure it? We say we're living healthy, but what do we actually eat each day? How many sodas did we drink? What time did we go to bed last night? We claim we've been diligently learning Spanish, but how many new words did we actually learn this week? Did we do the exercises, or were we watching YouTube on the side? These lies aren't loud, they're subtle, gentle, comforting, and that's what makes them so dangerous. Because when you lie to others, at least you know you're lying. But when you lie to yourself, you slowly lose the ability to tell real and what's not, inside your own mind. And when that happens, you start living based on feelings. You feel okay, so you assume you're on track. You feel busy, so you think you're making progress. You feel stressed, so you believe you've given your all. But the truth doesn't live in feelings. It lives in data, in actions, in measurable outcomes. If you're serious about growing, you need your own internal stethoscope, a tool that helps you see yourself clearly, without judgment, but also without excuses. Direct, honest, measurable. Let me share with you 3 simple tools I use every day to stay grounded in truth. And if you've ever felt stuck, unmotivated, or like you're constantly delaying what matters, chances are you're missing one of these. Tool 1, behavior tracking, a mirror to face the facts. I started logging my behaviors in 2018, not because I'm naturally disciplined, but because I was tired of feeling like I was working hard without seeing any real results. I wrote down every workout, how much I lifted, how long I ran, how many minutes I rested. I logged my writing sessions, what time I started, how long I wrote, how many words I finished. And you know what I discovered? There were plenty of things I thought I was doing, but in reality, I wasn't doing them at all. Behavior tracking isn't just about keeping records. It's a way to see yourself beyond your emotions, because emotions are easy to fool. On a tired day, you'll think you did your best. On a happy day, you'll think everything's fine. But numbers don't lie. If you ran for 20 minutes yesterday but only 10 today, you know something slipped. All it takes is a small notebook, and suddenly you've got a mirror that reflects the real you. Tool 2, time tracking. Know what's really taking up your life. Let me be honest, if you had asked me a year ago, how much time do you spend on social media each week? I would have just guessed, because I had no idea. Then I installed Rescue Time. It's a program that runs in the background on your computer or phone and tracks exactly how you spend your time. That first week, I was shocked. I thought I was working non-stop. Turns out I was only doing focused work for about 3.5 hours a day. The rest was tab switching, checking messages, reading random articles, or, you guessed it, YouTube. That changed everything. Now, I use my weekly time report to look at what I'm actually prioritizing. What's stealing my time quietly but aggressively? What do I think matters versus what I'm actually giving my hours to? And thanks to that awareness, I've cut the noise and started living with more intention. Tool 3, value check. Don't just live, live on your own terms. Every spring, usually on a quiet Sunday, I sit down and do a personal annual alignment review. I list out 3 of my top life priorities for the year, say health, financial stability, and creative growth. Then I go back over the past few months and ask, did my actions reflect those values? Did I really live in alignment with what I claimed mattered most? What's surprising is how often we think we're living on track, but we're actually just reacting, chasing deadlines, pleasing people, following routines we never consciously chose. This review is my compass. It helps me realign, so I don't get swept away by pressure, trends, or someone else's idea of success. You know what all three tools have in common? They help you become radically honest with yourself. Because the truth is this: lasting change doesn't come from bursts of motivation. It comes from long-term honesty. You can't grow if you keep living based on feelings and vague intentions. If you want to become a better version of yourself, not in your imagination, but in real life, then the first step isn't doing more. It's to stop lying to yourself. Track, log, reflect. Ask the hard questions. That's how you begin. The lies that sound reasonable, but are secretly holding you back. I don't have time. Sounds fair, right? Everyone's busy. But let's be real. You don't have a time problem. You have a priority problem. When you spend 2 hours each night scrolling random videos, but claim you don't have 30 minutes to work out, the issue isn't time. It's what you're choosing to value. I don't have time is just a polite way to say, it's not important enough to me right now. Try swapping the sentence. Instead of saying, I don't have time to learn Spanish, say, I'm prioritizing TikTok over learning Spanish. It stings, but it's honest. And honesty is where change begins. I'm not good enough. This sounds humble, but it's actually a trap. You can't be good if you never start. No one is born knowing how to write, draw, or run marathons. Not good enough is just an excuse to delay the beginning. The truth is, you don't need to be great to start, but you do need to start to become great. Every skilled person you admire today was once a beginner. The only difference? They didn't let being bad stop them. I'm waiting for motivation. One of the most harmful myths we've been sold is that we need to feel inspired to act. But in reality, action breeds motivation, not the other way around. The days when you feel like doing nothing, that's when you need discipline, not motivation. Because if you rely on motivation alone, you'll only show up on the good days. And success doesn't come from good days, it comes from consistency. Successful people don't have more motivation than you. They just act even when they don't feel like it. Motivation is a result, not a prerequisite. The cost of lying to yourself. It's not staying still, it's quietly slipping backwards. You know what's scarier than failure? It's the illusion of progress, when in reality, you're stuck. That vague sense of, well, I'm doing something when you're just spinning your wheels. And worse, you start to believe the illusion. You settle for average. You justify your stagnation with lines like, at least I'm not getting worse. But here's the harsh truth. Life doesn't stand still. You're either growing or you're shrinking. And the moment you lose the ability to tell the difference, you've already started slipping. I've been there. I've congratulated myself for writing 3 lines of dialogue for a YouTube video, when my goal was to finish a full 10-minute script. I told myself I was being consistent with content, when really, I was recycling old ideas and avoiding the hard stuff. I said I was tired, as a way to justify not posting all week. I convinced myself I needed rest, when deep down, I was just scared. Scared the new video wouldn't be good enough. Scared no one would watch. Scared to fail like the last time. Only when I started tracking, reviewing, and being brutally honest with myself did I realize how long I had been lying to myself. And from that moment, real progress finally began. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be honest. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You don't need to become a superhero, but you do need to stop and get honest. Honest about where you really are. Honest about what you haven't done. Honest about what truly matters. Because only when you face the truth can you begin to live with direction. And remember, living honestly isn't harsh, it's freeing. When you no longer have to pretend for others or for yourself, you can use all that energy to actually build a life you're proud of. Today, you don't have to make a grand commitment. Just answer one question. What's something in my life right now that I know needs to change, but I keep avoiding? That answer, that's your starting line. I hope you find the courage to listen and the patience to follow through. I hope you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit the like button. It might seem like a small thing, but because of how the YouTube algorithm works, videos with more likes tend to get shown to more people. So your like really helps this video reach others who might need it too. And if you find my content valuable, consider subscribing. It really helps more people discover it. Thanks for watching, and I wish you and your family good health and peace. See you in the next video.